Good afternoon, my name's Martin Carrington. I look after Waimea Estates wines throughout the world, really, as far as exports are concerned. I've been in the industry for over 26 years, and during that time I've worked with a number of companies. I now live on the vineyard and work full-time with Waimea Estates. It's a family-owned vineyard. They have a range of wines, but our predominant grape varieties are Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris and also Pinot Noir. In the Australian market, their two whites especially sell well, and that's due to the fabulous food you have. And on the eastern seaboard, we've found that the two wine styles are appreciated because of their difference. Just recently we've had taken part in the Noosa News Wine and Food Festival, and we enjoyed that greatly. It's such an effort to have to eat and drink your way along the eastern seaboard here, but somebody's got to do it. The Sauvignon Blanc was matched in this particular lunch that we had, was matched with a chèvre tart with a little bit of tarragon, and that was beautifully matched with the Waimea Sauvignon Blanc. The Waimea Sauvignon is basically picked from 4 different vineyards. It's our oldest vines, premium fruit, and we pick at different times, so we get a real range of flavours. Then the wine's aged on its yeast lees, so it's got a very nice creamy character to it, very long finish. It's picked up 2 golds now, one in the New Zealand National Wine Awards and the other in the Sydney Top 100 International Wine Show. So who says the Aussie judges don't know what they're doing? The other wine was Waimea Pinot Gris, and that's a very rich Alsace style, so it's late harvested fruit, and it's then fermented just off dry. So it's quite a rich, oily style, just a little bit of sweetness at the end of the palate, and it works very, very well with Asian flavours, especially Thai dishes, with a little bit of sweet coconut milk, for instance, but with a bit of chili and spice. So a very, very soft, fruity style. Waimea is based in Nelson on the old river plains. We have 5 vineyards ranging from very stony old river soils right through to slightly heavier foothill sites. And these different vineyard sites give us a lot of different flavours and just add to the complexity overall of the wine styles that we produce. We are based in the top of the South Island. You'll see Blenheim, Marlborough especially, is well known for Sauvignon Blanc, and Nelson over to the left or the west of the mountain range there, about 2 hours from Blenheim, is renowned for having foothills around 3 sides, sea on the other, so you get a very gentle sea breeze, almost regular as clockwork, sort of late afternoon, and this gives the vines plenty of fresh air, reduces the frost risk, and of course a very long dry autumn, so we're able to get the fruit as ripe as possible. The result really is that we've got a family-owned winery. Owner, the viticulturist, the GM, and myself are all in contact with the fruit on a daily basis. I live on the vineyard, I cycle to work literally through the vines. It's a tough life, but it puts you in touch with all of the market as far as what the consumers are wanting, as far as the styles of wine that people are wanting to taste, the styles of food that people are wanting to eat. And we just appreciate the fact that so many restaurateurs, service staff has as much of a passion in producing a good product as we do in producing a good wine. Thank you very much.
Yep. And what inspired your passion for wine?
When I was young, I travelled overseas doing the traditional OE, as a lot of youngsters, I suppose, from Australia and New Zealand do. And I think at that time I was a confirmed spirits and beer drinker. And I just slowly developed a taste for the wine and food, especially working in the restaurant and pub industry in the UK. And I think my big breakthrough came when I was assistant manager in a restaurant, working over the summer period, over the winter period basically, to head off over to Europe during the summer, which is a traditional sort of attack, I suppose, that the Kiwis do. And during this time, the manager fell ill. He had some time off. I took his place for a while, and at the same time, the owner was setting up a second restaurant. He then saw me in this role, asked me to be the manager of the new restaurant, and of course one of the responsibilities was the new wine list being developed in conjunction with the chef, and I just fell in love with the whole concept. I very naively phoned up a couple of the local wine suppliers. They invited them to bring around samples and talk to me about the wines that they carried in their portfolio, and of course it was an avalanche of samples and hard-selling salesmen. So it was sort of welcome to the world of wine sales 101 in a very, very brief period. But the result was I was able to sit down and open probably 30 or 40 odd bottles of wine, then sit with the chef and all of the staff, and again hard work, but we went from about 9:30 at night after the main service was over until about 2 in the morning. By that time we'd then sorted out the menu and the wine list, and wine sales just went through the roof because everybody understood the concept of wine and food management, including myself, and I was hooked. So that was it. From there, of course, it was very easy to go visit the main grape growing regions through Europe, and as part of that you just fall in love with I suppose the local foods, the local wines, and really their reasoning behind why that particular dish of that region goes with that particular wine. And hundreds of years of tradition, and it all just started to make sense, and I'm hooked.
What wine would you give as a gift to someone close to you?
I think if they are close, they hopefully are familiar with my range of wines already. So if I did give one of my wines, I would tend to pick one of the better vintages, but from an older time frame. So currently, for instance, our 2002 dry Riesling is drinking beautifully. The wine's picked up a couple of trophies and a few golds. Very good quality wine, and it's aged beautifully. Not so easy to get hold of. So that's the sort of bottle I'd gift wrap, add a little personal card and put it into a box and make a present.
What's your present favourite food and wine combination?
Well, dishes that have a lot of acidity, a lot of vegetal flavours are always quite hard to match. So asparagus, for instance, is notoriously difficult. Tomatoes are quite acidic and quite hard to match, yet Sauvignon Blanc matches so well with that. And New Zealand Sauvignon, especially Waimere's Nelson Sauvignon, does have this lovely aromatic, a nice texture and this flavour. And there's actually a chemical similarity between asparagus, for instance, and Sauvignon Blanc called methoxypyrrole. And we don't want to get into chemistry, but in a way it is one of the few wines that can stand up to that particular dish. So when you end up with ratatouilles or with dishes with a lot of vegetables, salads, things like that, Sauvignon's just a perfect part. One of my favourite simplest matches is actually very nice, fresh, plump oysters with Sauvignon Blanc. Just fantastic.
Past or present, who would you most like to have a drink with?
Ooh. Now that's interesting. I have always been a fan of John Cleese and his warm sense of humour, and I hear he loves good red wine. So an older bottle of our Pinot Noir, I think, with John Cleese would be a bit of fun. David Lange, ex-Labour Prime Minister of New Zealand, is a real raconteur. I love his warm sense of humour again, and it seems to be a theme coming through here. He's not a big drinker, but and he's passed away now, so this would be difficult, but I would love to sit down with a glass with David in good form.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
You're very welcome.